You are a spiritual being living a human experience. Let me close my closet. Hi guys, my name is Veronica. Welcome to my channel, and today we are going to be talking about how you can be the conscious creator of your reality, aka manifest whatever you want. And I've literally manifested my dream life. To give you some credibility on that, I am 22 years old. I have my own online business where I pretty much just get to frolic 90% of the time and then help women the other 10%. It's probably a little bit more than that, but you get the idea. Genuinely just wake up and do what I love every day. Like, I frolic, I have freedom. Now, does that mean that I don't have goals? No, I still have goals and aspirations for the future, but I would say for being 22, I manifested my own business. I manifested my dream relationship where my man works and provides. Literally manifested my dream life. Like, this is what I've wanted to do for forever. So I want to share that knowledge and that insight with you. To begin, in order to even begin to understand how we can manifest to begin with, we have to understand who we are as a conscious being. Consciousness, right, is our awareness of being. It's your awareness to be like, oh, I am a living, breathing, creative, thinking being on planet Earth. We are the only creatures on Earth that we know of that have that ability. We live between three planes. We live between the physical plane, which is what we can see, what we can touch, what we can see, smell, hear, taste, and feel in the physical realm. We live on the mental plane, so we have that little voice in our head that's constantly talking to us, and we're allowed to think and create and imagine, and we can close our eyes and visualize something in here, and that is the mental plane. And then we have access to the spiritual plane. And now this is being able to believe in something higher than ourselves, being able to question our own existence, being able to ask where we even come from. We live on these three planes, but our mental plane creates our spiritual plane, because our mental plane creates thoughts, which therefore creates emotions. And emotions are energy in motion. Energy in motion. Don't forget that. That's going to be very important. So what we can do with this energy, create our reality. What I mean by that is the emotion that we feel towards something that is happening in reality is the way that we experience reality. So for example, if something happens, I could look at it, and if I have a negative emotion towards it, now my reality is painted in a certain way. Whereas if Joe next to me is having the exact same experience, the exact same things happen, he might view it completely differently and have a different emotion, and therefore his reality is positive. So that just shows you that reality in and of itself, it's fluid, because we are all living completely different experiences based on our thoughts, which then create our emotions on the experience. So since we're able to have the awareness that these experiences are just completely fluid, we can develop I like to call it the sixth sense, which is the feeling. And if we can create it ourselves, we are therefore able to create our external reality. Religion itself is proof that you create your reality, because there are so many different belief systems. There are so many different truths out there, and every single person who believes that truth, that is their reality. If I'm a Christian and I firmly believe that Jesus Christ is my Savior, I wake up every morning and that is the reality that I'm living. However, if I wake up every day and I believe that a lizard god is my savior, that is the reality that I'm living. And so religion in and of itself proves that reality is malleable based on your emotional beliefs and the emotions that you have tied to that belief. I choose to believe that I am God, that I am the creator of this reality, that the infinite intelligence, or the God of the entire universe is within me, and that I am it, and that everything that I see, taste, touch, smell, hear within this physical reality is simply just a reflection of what I have inside. And now there's a couple of different analogies that we could put to it, but I like to use the car analogy. For example, if I get in my car and I go and drive on the highway and I say, oh my gosh, all I'm gonna see today are blue cars. I only see blue cars everywhere. What do you think you're gonna think? what do you think you're going to see is all just blue cars. Why? Because you told your subconscious mind, you told your spirit, your essence, your energy what to focus on. Therefore, it's going to focus on it. So if you can get your subconscious mind to focus on your vision, on your goal, on the highest version of you, it is only going to highlight everything in your reality that represents that highest version. The way that I went about manifesting was that first, I had a clear vision of what I wanted my life to look like. Now, you need to develop this extremely vivid picture of your dream life in your mind. I grabbed a notebook and I literally wrote down in vivid detail in multiple paragraphs how I would be living on a daily basis in my dream life. And now you need to use absolutely no logic here, because what logic is, it is just preconditioned programming from when you were young. When you were growing up, for example, around money, you might have been told that money is really hard to make, or that money is scarce, that there's not enough to go around for everybody. And since you've held this belief, your dream state is probably just working a 9-to-5 with good benefits and a stable salary, because you think that that's as good as it can get. But I'm telling you right now that this reality, since it is malleable and since you are a conscious creator through your emotions, you are able to create whatever reality you want. So if that means that you are living in a reality where you're a millionaire and you don't have to do anything because your dream man takes care of everything and you have everything that you want materialistically, spiritually, all the things, you are able to live that reality. So write it down in vivid detail. You can write down in vivid detail, or you can create a vision board. I've been creating vision boards. I've been creating vision boards for over 4 years. Hold on, let me show you guys. The first vision board that I ever made, this was in 2023. So I guess 4 years. Yeah, 3 years, 4 years. This was in 2023. This was when I first started to become consciously aware that I am an infinite being. What we think versus what we are. At this time, I was living at my sister's house. I was renting out a little spare bedroom that she had for $500 a month. I was working as a bartender or a golf cart girl. My goal was to be healthier. My goal was to become more in tune with my divine light and who I am, and be a business owner. Interesting. And this was in 2024. Yeah, this was 2024. I definitely got a little bit more creative with it, and I had this, the gym, and it's so funny, like I did not do this intentionally, but I put the gym and next to money, and this was the year that I started my job at Crunch Fitness as a personal trainer. This was the year that I went through a lot of turmoil, and I just find it very funny because obviously you could tell I wasn't too focused on my relationship. I didn't have anything as far as my relationship, and I was dating my ex at the time. And I had put this was the only thing really representing my relationship. It was just like a little good morning in bed with 2 coffees. What's so funny is that this was also the year that I met my now partner and husband, future husband for sure, like we are getting married. It was crazy as my ex doesn't even drink coffee. He never did. So it's like, I don't even know why I put this here. I don't really know what I was thinking. I think I just wanted like slow mornings with my partner, but it's just so funny because my ex didn't drink coffee, and this was the year that we broke up and that I got with my partner now, who is a coffee freak. Gosh, I had also put this car thing, and this was the year that I bought my first car. In my 2025 vision board, at the end of 2024, I started my social media, and by November of 2025, I had hit 10K followers. So that's pretty cool. Mastered discipline and consistency to the point where if you guys know me and have been following me for a while on my Instagram, you guys know that I've actually had to take a step back from being so disciplined and so consistent because it actually started to work against me in a way. So So 2025 was also the year that I moved into my apartment with my now boyfriend. As you guys can tell, I've put a lot of time and effort into the vision, but it's crucial. You need to have a clear picture in your head of exactly what it is that you want and start to embody the state of the version of you that already has it. And even though I have goals, even though I have aspirations for the future, that doesn't take away from my present state. Just because I'm not in my Miami high-rise apartment does not mean that I wake up every day and just visualize being in that apartment. It means I am so grateful when I get out of bed to be in this apartment. Because if I can harness the emotional state of waking up in peace and in gratitude for this apartment and in amazement for it, then I am going to be able to step into the identity of the woman who wakes up in her Miami high-rise apartment absolutely stunned, grateful, and appreciative for being in that apartment. The exact same way that I would wake up grateful, excited, and grounded when I was in my sister's bedroom. I was so grateful. I woke up every day so grateful, and I happened to have an apartment on my vision board. I happened to have that goal, but I was so grateful for what I had in the moment that I was able to harness the emotional energy of my current self, and that's why I'm sitting in my own apartment right now. You have to have the vision plus the emotion. You have to feel like you are already in the vision and ignore your external reality. Now I'm not saying to get reckless. Like, I'm not saying to be irresponsible. I'm not saying to like ignore all your bills because the future version of you doesn't pay bills. That is not what I'm saying. I am saying harness the feeling of the version of yourself who already has the thing, who already has the dream reality, even though your external reality might not reflect it. Because if you are not where you want to be, that might bring up some negative emotions. And what those negative emotions, or that energy in motion, does is it attracts more of that emotion. So if I'm sitting, for example, in my apartment right now, which I love my apartment, but my dream and my dream reality is to live in a Miami penthouse, okay? So if I wake up every morning and I'm like, oh, I'm still not in the Miami penthouse, I hate my apartment, I hate where I live, and I'm nitpicking about everything in my apartment, guess what? The universe, the infinite intelligence, God, your higher self, whatever you want to call the greater power, it loves me so much that it's going to say, you wake up every morning and you want to be miserable? What? I'm going to give you more of it. Something that I got very wrong for a very long period of time is I thought that manifestation was, let me just paint this pretty little picture in my head and then I just have to think about it over and over and over and over and over again, and then it's going to happen for me. That is not the case. And what ended up happening was I made a lot of money very quick. I transferred relationships very quick, and I thought that that was my desired reality. And the minute that I became ungrateful and lost the feeling of having the thing, it all got stripped away from me. So if you are trying to create a permanent reality of your dream life, you need the vision plus the feeling. Feel the emotion as if you are already there and ignore this material external reality. Now, I know that that's extremely hard and you're like, Veronica, but how am I supposed to feel like a millionaire if I look at my bank account and I see nothing? Now, that is where we get into the nitty-gritty of how to actually visualize the reality. Because for the longest time, for example, I didn't like my car. So what I would do was I would drive around and I would just pretend that I was in my dream car. But the issue was that I was pretending, and my emotional state and my subconscious knew that I was just pretending and that I did not truly feel like it was going to happen. And I was not truly feeling the appreciation of the state in the moment. So instead of visualizing yourself in your dream car driving, you visualize the dream car, but instead know that you are in your current reality, but harness the feeling. So I would look at my bank account and I would say, I would see it clear as day. It was overdrawn. My savings were at zero. My credit card was at $10,000. And I would say, I am so grateful that I am so abundant. I know that this is not permanent, but I'm grateful for what I have right now. Why? Because I know that the future version of myself would look at her bank account and she would feel so grateful for what she has. The feeling and with the vision, those plus conviction equals attraction. You need to know from the very bottom of your soul, from the from the tip top of your toes all the way to the top of your head, that no matter what, you are going to get what you want. That your desired reality is possible, and no matter what, you are going to get there. And the way that you do that is by detaching from how it's going to happen. That's another mistake I made. For the longest time, I had the vision, I had the feeling, I knew for a fact I was gonna get there, but I had this control over my reality where I was not fully trusting that it was going to happen to me because I pictured it happening in a very specific way. And if something that happened in life that didn't align with that specific plan that I had in my head, I would convince myself, this really isn't going to happen for me because it's not going my way. And what did that do? It reaffirmed the fact that it's never going to happen, and it delayed the process. So the basic concept of this video is just for me to remind you that you have the power to create your reality. You are the conscious creator. You continue to have the conviction, have the vision, have the feeling behind it, and understand that you are gonna get there no matter what. And you may not know how you're gonna get there, but you're gonna get there. You're gonna get there. If you liked this video, be sure to comment, like, show a little bit of love, because at the end of the day, you know it's gonna return back to you. I mean, don't do it for that reason. Do it because you really want to. But at the end of the day, anyways, love you. Goodbye.